Today we're going to talk about how much money you really need invested to live entirely off dividends. I've tried just about every passive income idea out there, from side hustles, to real estate, to affiliate marketing programs, and I have to say, from my experience, dividends are by far the easiest way to start replacing your income with a lot less money than you think. Before we dive in, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. It really helps me out, and as a thank you, I'll do my best to reply to as many comments as possible. The appeal of dividends. So, let's talk about my thoughts on whether or not dividend investing is even worth it, how much you'll realistically need to replace your income. Alright, first we've got to talk about the basics. For those unaware, anytime you buy a stock, that entitles you to a portion of that company's profits, and sometimes those profits are distributed on a regular basis in the form of a dividend. Have you ever invested in dividend-paying stocks before? What has your experience been like? How dividends work? This dividend is taken as a fixed amount that each share pays out on a quarterly basis, and its percentage is based on the price the stock is currently trading at. So if a share pays $5 a year and it's trading for $100, that's a 5% yield. And because of that, the dividend return could go higher or lower depending on the price the stock is trading for. Now, of course, not every company pays a dividend, and it's generally thought that companies only pay dividends when they can't get a better return reinvesting their capital back into their operation. But for the most part, when you do get a dividend, they'll generally range anywhere between 1% to 10%, depending on the company, which will probably be some of the easiest passive income you will ever make in your entire life. Pros of dividend investing. The benefit from an investment standpoint is that this gives you predictable cash flow on a regular basis without needing to sell any shares, leaving you with more money to buy even more investments. But when it comes to doing this, there are some pros and cons that need to be considered. As far as my own strategies for replacing your income, here's what I think. First, dividends are fun because it kind of feels like you're getting this magical internet money. But in the big picture, on the positive side, I like dividends because they're somewhat insulated from the market. Like we've all seen throughout the last year, the market could be a mess, but dividends are a lot more predictable. For the most part, you know you're going to get the exact same dividend payment, whether the stock price trades for $20 or $40, and for someone expecting consistent cash flow, that helps smooth out the market fluctuations. Second, dividend payments are significantly less volatile than stock prices. For example, from 1900 to 2018, dividend payments were quite consistent, with an average fluctuation of plus or minus 10% during market downturns. When compared to the S&P 500, you'll notice a lot more volatility, which is important for someone looking for a continuous cash flow. Do you prefer more stable, consistent income streams or higher potential returns with more volatility? Third, during recessions, dividend payouts may increase. Dividends paid to investors climbed throughout 3 previous recessions, including a 46% increase during the first recession after World War II. Although such an increase does not occur every time, the average dividend drop is only 0.5%, compared to the stock market's average decline of 32%. Fourth, dividend stocks have also been shown to provide a comparable return to that of the overall market. In fact, analysts at Morgan Stanley found that dividends accounted for over 50% of market returns during times when inflation was above 3%. Which means even though they're not the stocks that go up the most during a bull market, they also don't decline the most during a crash. Cons of dividend investing. But there are also a few significant downsides that come with the territory. Number 1. Dividends are not guaranteed. Even though firms normally attempt to avoid cutting or reducing dividends, it does happen. And because payouts are typically a reflection of the company's earnings, in the event of a downturn, they may choose to switch off the money printer until conditions recover. Second, dividend payments mean nothing when the company itself declines in value. In this case, earning a 5% dividend could actually lose you money when the stock price declines. Something like 30%. This is an example that happens all the time. Just take a look at 3M, which was paying a 6% dividend but has lost more than 50% in value throughout the last 5 years due to an ongoing lawsuit this year. And in May 2024, it cut its dividend to 2.76%. Of course, there's a chance the stock price recovers while you sit back and collect all the extra cash flow. But there's also a chance that doesn't happen, and that needs to be considered. The third con is that unlike buying a stock and only being taxed when you sell, dividends are taxed the moment you receive them, and depending on your tax bracket and whether you are a foreign investor, that could be 20% or more. Not to mention, in a way, dividends are even taxed twice. Once at the corporate level as profit and then again when you receive them, so they're not exactly the most tax efficient. Fourth, dividends could be completely irrelevant. In this example, 2 well-known economists argued that if an investor needs money, all they need to do is sell the stock, and dividends add no value to the company. It would be similar to claiming that instead of receiving a 2% dividend, the stock price would just rise by an additional 2%, although in both circumstances, your worth remains unchanged. How much you need to live off dividends. But as far as how much you need to live entirely off dividends, here's the entire calculation. First, it all comes down to how much you need. After all, the person living in a luxury high-rise penthouse in New York City is going to live a much different lifestyle than someone who prefers to live off the grid in a tiny home in Montana. So it would depend on what your expenses are. But since the average retiree spends $50,000 a year, we'll go with that as our baseline. What are your current living expenses, and how much do you think you would need to live comfortably in retirement? Second, when it comes to dividends, you don't necessarily want to go for the stock that just pays the highest yield. After all, you want consistency, and that's what brings us to the holy grail of passive income. Dividend aristocrats. This is a group of 65 S&P 500 companies with more than 25 years of consecutive dividend increases, selected based on their size, growth, and ability to continue increasing their payouts. In fact, throughout the last 20 years, there have only ever been 2 years of negative growth. Once in 2008 and another in 2018. Beyond that, dividend aristocrats have continued growing above and beyond the average because of their consistency. On top of that, a good portion of these companies actually outperformed the market throughout recessions, and even though they can certainly decline alongside everything else, they tend to decline a lot less. That's generally because it's theorized that dividend-paying companies focus more on cash flow. They're more selective with their spending, and they're willing to reward their shareholders in the process. So, as you can see, these dividend aristocrats tend to pay anywhere between 0.3%, the lowest, to 5.3%, the highest, with most somewhere between 2% and 3%. That means if you took a basket of these stocks with an average of a 3% yield, you would need $1.67 million invested to replace the average $50,000 a year income. If we break that down even further, you could potentially achieve that by investing $22,200 a year over 40 years while reinvesting the dividends, and voila, there you go. You've done exactly that. But I will say that if you're impatient like I am, there are a few other alternatives that could get you there a lot faster. One method I've seen floating around a lot lately is what's called a covered call ETF, like GPI, which generates income through a combination of selling options and investing in US large-cap stocks. How much income can you make through this? Try 7.4%. Essentially, this fund would generate a yield regardless of how the market performed, since it pays you based on the premiums of the call options it sells on its holdings. But you'll also see limited upside in the event the market does well. And if the market goes down, then so does the price of the funds. So there's no such thing as a free lunch. However, that does mean that hypothetically, you would be able to replace a $50,000 a year income by investing $675,675, which is a lot more achievable for the average American person. Overall, though, just keep in mind that it's probably not a good idea at all to go all in on something like a covered call ETF, since their objective is purely to generate income as soon as possible. And long-term, you're likely to severely underperform the overall market or end up losing some of your initial capital. So realistically, it'll likely be a lot smarter to take a much more diversified approach if you're going to do this, which is going to cost you 3 times more. From my perspective, though, at the end of the day, you just have to realize that money isn't free. And even though you're getting paid a dividend, that really is coming out of the company's cash flow that isn't being reinvested to grow the business. That's why I think the real benefit to dividends isn't so much that they're a superior investment or that they're better than another stock that doesn't pay a dividend, but instead, they give you the psychological benefit of receiving steady income without having to physically go and sell shares. Even for me, I'll admit the dividend I receive really makes no difference because I just automatically reinvest the proceeds anyway, because it does give me some additional peace of mind knowing that if I needed to spend the money, I could, and it's more like icing on the cake as a reward for long-term investing. That's why I believe that dividends could be a great part of a well-diversified portfolio, but if you're young and you don't need the money, then they shouldn't be your main focus. Instead, I choose to prioritize the overall market, and if it happens to pay a dividend in the process, then all the better. You may also wish to check out my other video on the 10 buy and hold forever dividend stocks in the link above and in the description down below. Have you thought of how much money you need to live off dividends forever? Comment below. If you enjoyed this video, do like and share this video so that more people will learn about how to live off dividends forever. Check out this playlist of my top 10 videos for creating wealth, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.